Hello, everyone, and welcome to OTM Live. This is TJ Lasig. I am your host here at OTM, and we are coming on this Monday night, and we are going to bring the hype. We are going to bring the energy. Justin and I were talking earlier this morning, and it just felt like there was a lot of negativity going on around the Top Shot industry after everything that happened on Saturday. The two of us touched on that in our podcast yesterday. So if you want to hear our thoughts on everything that went down with the Hollow Icon 1 drop, you can check out that podcast. But that's not what we're here to talk about tonight. We had the Cool Cats 1 challenge complete today. We just literally in the last minute had Luca's start to be delivered to the people. So if you completed the challenge, go ahead and check out your account right now. Your Luca's will be coming through. I've got mine. I believe that my co-host is still looking for
I just got mine.
Justin. Oh, you got yours. What mint number do we have?
2350. And so to get a little behind the scenes, we found out that they are releasing them with the lowest mint numbers first. So we had a friend who's like, I got mine. And he's 210. And then TJ and I look and we're like, nope, don't have ours. Then we see that they've done about 1800. Nope, don't have ours. This ain't great. But just snuck in there. 2350. Nice clean number, but not too special.
Yeah, nothing too great. I got 1294 for mine, so nothing special, but good to have that Luca Cool Cat. That will definitely be one of the topics for tonight. But first, just to set the stage a bit here, welcome to everyone that is in the chat. If you are not subscribed to the YouTube channel, please go ahead, hit the subscribe button if you like what we've been doing. We had an awesome live show on Saturday for the Hollow Icon 1 pack drop. We are planning to do that same type of live show for future pack drops. That way, you guys can sit with us for an hour beforehand, get our thoughts on what we think is going to happen with the drop, and watch as we live sweat for our pack drops. Hopefully, the next one goes smoothly. I imagine that there will be a Cool Cats 2 pack drop sometime this week, if I had to guess. Like we just said, Cool Cats 1 is completed. We will get into some of the Cool Cats stuff. We also, for anyone that was around late last night, released the first episode of a new show that we are doing called Producer Cupe After Dark. So you guys hear us refer to Producer Cupe. Shout out to Producer Cupe behind the scenes, grinding back there, making all of this happen. But we also thought that, and Cupe even himself had the idea to get in front of the camera a bit, talk a little bit just from his perspective as somebody who is maybe experimenting with NBA Top Shot with a little bit of a smaller bankroll, something that is hopefully pretty relatable to the people. He had a great little 20-minute video, walked through some of his thoughts, his portfolio, talked through a big decision that he has been considering. So shout out to Coop, guys. Definitely check out that show. All righty. So, Justin, where would you like to begin? Should we start with the Cool Cats? I feel like the Lucas just came out. That's got to be where we start. What happened throughout the course of today, from your perspective? What was the closing moments of the Cool Cats challenge like, and what have things looked like since that challenge ended?
Yeah, and so let's start with what is going on right this second. If you look at the marketplace, Lucas are starting to hit that market, and looks like early pricing is around $1,000. So we've seen 7 sales so far, nothing with any special serial numbers, ranging from around $850 up to $1,200. So interesting, people who are setting the market based off a combination of maybe what they paid for it and they're trying to get some value. Most people, it seems like, paid a little more than $1,000. So releasing it for $1,000 seems to be not the sharpest play, to set the market, but little interesting, and something we'll continue to monitor. Obviously, this is an opportunity for, if you believe that it's going to shoot up, buy them now. If you believe it's going to drop, hold on. If you are just have some time, just monitor that marketplace, and maybe you'll see someone's going to put something a little too low, and you can get a nice little steal there. For the rest of the day, let's think, how did that go? So for TJ and I, we both completed our Cool Cats pretty much immediately when we found out that LaMelo was going to be the Master Challenge. Once we heard that, we felt the prices were going to kind of jump up because more people would be incentivized to complete this challenge for the long haul. I think as we kind of surmised early on, we believe that Luca is going to be the most rare of the cool cats. A couple things that go into that is, one, we've heard from the Top Shot team that they really wanted this to be a more accessible challenge, and that when they were seeing that the price point here was going to cost around $1,200 to $1,500 to complete the cool cat challenge, that was not what they expected, and so they want to kind of bring that entry to barrier down. One of the ways they're doing that is this next challenge, the second round of the Cool Cat Challenge. Instead of it being 5,000 LE, they're doing 10,000. So hopefully more supply, more supply. If the demand shouldn't increase, definitely not by 2x. We should hopefully see the prices be a little lower there. Lower prices also potentially mean that, and out of 10,000 available, we probably see more than that 3,400 minted. So this Luca card, I believe, will continue to be throughout the challenge the most challenging, the highest priced one to acquire to get eventually the Lamella.
Yeah, I think that makes a ton of sense. I'm continuing to follow the Luca market right now. So the other thing that we have to touch on is that over the course of the past week, Justin and I had differing opinions on how many people we thought were going to complete the Luca challenge. And, I thought that I was in good shape even at like 12:30 today. But needless to say, Justin's 3,500 number turned out to be almost on the nose, which, I'm not even surprised, right? The guy is a robot with a human face. He's nothing but a computer back in that brain. So I've been losing pretty much any bet I've made against Justin since 2012. I'll probably continue to do so because I'm just a sick fish that likes to give good action. But we did end up with – so the number that they said was 3,450, but I'm now seeing it say 3,461 plus. So that may not have been the official final number. I'm sure we'll see it. But it's literally right around 3,500. So yeah, well done. And can you explain why or how you were so spot on? And then I can try to defend my fishy position.
Yeah, and so my number kind of stayed around 3,500 throughout. Early on, and I don't remember which one of the pods we showed, we were trying to kind of estimate what is the value of the Luca going to be. And so kind of pulled out that chart and said, hey, if there's going to be this many minted, then it's going to be this price. I don't have that up right now, but I believe my final said that, hey, if it was 3,000 or if it was 3,500, the price would be about 850. So I think that was also a little before the LaMelo reward. So I think that's why we may see it a little higher. But my thought process really was, from how many people are really going to be active, and on the inverse, how many of them are just going to get that one and just hold on to it. Just took a wild ass guess to begin with of, it seems like it's going to be more than that 50%. Let's kind of get that range of a ballpark. And then what we could do is start tracking when we were, seeing how many people were actually attempting to collect this. Because very, very few people were able to get 2 cool cats through packs. Majority got 1. Some did get 2, but that was more of an outlier. So, but almost no one got 3. So if someone had 3, you could have pretty high level of confidence that this person was planning to complete the challenge. And same thing with 4, same thing with 5. So we have data analyst on the OTM team, who I think is going to be on one of the shows coming up pretty soon. But he helps us and pull the numbers to actually easily see, how many unique people own the various cats. And so we were kind of tracking towards. And I think what was really exciting is TJ actually put out the tweet right after the Cool Cat Challenge completed, because we saw that our data was showing that 3,150 had completed it. We then saw, I think, around 264 or so had 4, and then another 50 or so had 3. And TJ behind the scenes was pretty excited. He thought he had won it. I was one of two things. I had mixed thoughts, because first I was like, okay, that sucks. Definitely didn't want to lose this. And then I'm trying to I didn't buy it, because either it was very irrational behavior by those 4 out of 5, where 450 people had completed 4 and then decided, nah, I'm good. Like, what's happening here? So I think my message to TJ was even like, hey, let's make sure that there's not either a data error or just a data delay. We dug into it later after we counted the results, and we found out that most of the data, either on CryptoSlam and various sites, is all delayed around 30 to 40 minutes. So that makes sense. And you saw a lot of people with that 4 waiting that last half hour, because a lot of people had the hypothesis that the prices were going to drop at the end. We did not actually end up seeing that. I have a couple theories for why that is. And the primary one is, I think the majority of those people who were holding on to the 1, what they did is they just priced it, put in the marketplace, and probably didn't pay much of attention. May not have even known this was going on. The people who are watching the stream, people that are, kind of interacting on this, we are the core. We are the heavy, we are the ones that are very active in this. And there are probably a large amount of people who just, joined experimenting. Maybe they bought a pack. Maybe they got a cool cat. Didn't realize that it was ending at noon today, or 1 o'clock today, 3 o'clock, noon Pacific, whatever. I don't know what it was. But maybe didn't even realize that. And so they put their moments in the marketplace. You have a large amount of people who are still trying to complete it. As they buy out, they raise that floor. So we saw the prices go up. And if those people aren't actively realizing what the downside is if they don't sell it, which we then saw that significant drop of, I think, around 60, 70% of the prices, they're just going to lose out on that. And so that's why we saw those kind of values even near the end go up just until the challenge, as those 400 or 500 people still wanted to make sure they completed the challenge, and didn't get the value of the prices drops.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. My thought or my hope was that the prices were getting so expensive over time that maybe the 3 of 5 people were not going to end up actually completing the challenge. That turned out to be an incorrect take, but it does make sense. It would have been like you said, it would have just been a total blunder to end with 4 cool cats. I think you should have either ended the challenge with 5 or with 0. I don't really see a reason why you would end up with any number other than those 2. And that should be the case for any challenge going forward, unless you have a moment that you feel has some sort of other intrinsic value as a long-term hold. But for the most part, I think that the smart move with the challenges is either going to be to complete the challenge or to sell off any challenge moment that you have prior to completion, because like we saw today, and like we've seen in past challenges, they will, and as you see on Justin's screen right here, as he can walk through, they pretty much instantly dipped as soon as that challenge was marked as complete.
Yeah. What we're seeing with this chart is you can just see it. So I'm basically doing this for the day, and you can see prices really did not change that much throughout the day. Focus more on the actual white dots than the green lines, because that green line is heavily influenced as a weighted average by these at the end. But overall, you can see there's a slight incline actually of those white dots moving up as the price near that end of challenge completed. I do think it is interesting that people, whether they got desperate or they realized, hey, I'm already having to overpay, so maybe I'll buy a lower mint. Because you can see that kind of bucket here. But once that challenge ended, just wow, you just see these absolute just people flood in the market all the way down to a $70 John Collins, $100 John Collins. There were some sharp, theoretically, we'll see if they were sharp, but I think there were pretty sharp people who were monitoring the marketplace and able to get some good steals. And now it's kind of leveled out a bit more down at this point, price point of that kind of 150, 170, 180 range. Because, hey, these cool cats are still needed for that master challenge. I can guarantee you, I'm confident in saying this, after the LaMelo, reward is out, assuming that they don't change anything up, these moments aren't needed beyond that, those prices are going to drop so much more. And I think I was saying that 5,000 limited edition with the cool cap branding, I think $20 to $40 is probably what they'll end up going for. Maybe Booker will be a little higher just from a player wise. But the thing is, you're not holding it for its actual player value. You're holding it for the utility value of the challenge. And that is something that we will help with from an expected value and deciding at the end, do we try to just unload all 29 of our moments at the very end, or do we go for the LaMelo?
Yeah, pretty interesting comment from the chat here, essentially saying that you could just buy all the cool cats and Luca right now and not even had to have complete. I am shocked that I'm with you. I don't get why people would bother to complete the challenge and then sell their Luca for 800. Then you clearly didn't want the Luca that badly. So then why did you do it? It's weird to me. I don't think I get that. Then what was the whole point? Like how is the math adding up that you can complete the challenge and then recoup $800 and feel like you profited off of it? It doesn't intuitively make sense to me.
And so if you build that out, so maybe the philosophy is, okay, maybe that person is no longer bullish on the long-term value of the market. They don't want to hold the Luca. They're not going to complete the LaMelo challenge. So maybe they try to sell it for the 800. But that means that person is inactive. They were ready immediately when the moments came out. What were you expecting? Why not just sell all 5 of your moments for the 250 you could have got each near the end of the challenge? And now you're taking 1250. Maybe there's an argument that, okay, you're still able to, you're going to sell them all. So you sell the Luca for 900 and you sell the others for, I don't know, I guess 500. So that's a little more value there. I don't know. It seems like you are, nickel and diming to maybe take a small profit, but. Yeah.
Worm, as 2 Luca owners, we agree. Don't put your Luca up for less than 1,500, everyone. If we all do it, then we win. But
hold the line. Hold the line.
Hold the line.
But so if I wasn't on this market, I wasn't on the stream right now, what I would be doing is just monitoring that marketplace, because I haven't decided what that price point is, but it's definitely close, where I would just be trying to snag up some of those Lucas. Because as I said, the Luca is the most valuable. If you believe that Top Shot is going to have significantly more people by the end of this season, which is when that Luca challenge is going to, there's going to be increased demand to get that LaMelo. And if Luca really is the bottleneck, the most difficult one, there's no reason that it should be going for 800-900. Just, wild ass speculation here, but the value of that LaMelo card, let's guess. So there's not going to be more than 3,400 minted. We know that because that's capped because of the Luca. I would guess that you're actually going to see closer to about 2,500. A 2,500 LaMelo rookie. His other rookie is out of 4,000, and it's going for around 600. I think this one then goes for, and we saw the Luca's going for that. I don't know. I think your base is at least 2,000.
Yeah, I've proven I'm not good at this, but you say 2,500. I'm like, no way. You think 2,500 people complete the Master Challenge? That seems like a lot. That's a lot. So, okay, I asked you this question before we even got on stream today, and I'll ask you on the stream now because can you explain the CryptoKitty aspect of this challenge and how that impacts the LaMelos? Because I personally don't think I fully get the CryptoKitty aspect, and I'm sure that there are a lot of listeners that feel in the same boat.
Yeah, so at the beginning, CryptoKitty, as most people probably know, is another NFT-based site started in 2017 by the same creators as Top Shot, Dapper Labs. That was their first real core NFT commercial product. This is a way for the Dapper Labs to kind of, I think, A, reward their early adopters who were involved in CryptoKitties. And I think B, it's also a way to try to get more people involved with Top Shot by saying, hey, CryptoKitty fans, why don't you come over to Top Shot? We'll give you a free moment to come join the action. So what they have done is said anybody who is a CryptoKitty member, has a CryptoKitty on the site, et cetera, and that was before, I believe it was January 21st, but it was significantly before this announcement. If you were a member at that time, then you can get a free Top Shot CryptoKitty. Now, a free Top Shot player, which is going to likely
be Carl. And that's the town.
Exactly.
Got it. So you don't actually need to get a CryptoKitty.
No.
You just need to get the towns. The only way to get the towns is from the CryptoKitty, but then those will end up on the. Got it. So I will never have to go buy a CryptoKitty. I will just need to buy a towns.
Correct. And as Worm 369 here said, and as I've heard this multiple times as well, this will not be the bottleneck. First, they made that clear. Then, as they start seeing how many people are actually completing the form and getting the, Carl Anthony Towns, there's going to be at least 10,000. So if we accept that there's going to be 10,000, I don't know what, there were 5,000 of each of these cool cats, and we saw an average price of around $250. Maybe this Carl Anthony Towns ends up going for $150, $200. I think you're going to see some steals in the marketplace where people, who aren't on Top Shot just kind of want to liquidate it, sell it, get out, make a couple dollars. But end of day, I don't think it's going to be as major of a deal as otherwise, as we kind of initially thought, because I think people were concerned that, hey, there's only going to be 500 of these, 1,000 of these. And if that's the case, then that's going to be an extremely high investment for one moment as part of that challenge. But I'm no longer concerned. I actually, I've seen some friends kind of reach out on Facebook and like, hey, do I have any CryptoKitty fans, to try to make connections? I've seen the CryptoKitty Discord. You've got people going over there spamming, trying to get people to complete the challenge for them and stuff, or fill out the form so they can complete the challenge and stuff. So I don't think it's a big deal. It's just another card. It's just a moment. It's just we're not able to get it in a pack, so we'll buy it at the marketplace.
Yeah, I noticed in that. I got a shout out to Ryan here. Really, really smart strategy. So he says he's a few minutes behind the stream, but he just bought one of the Lucas for 800. Can only see it going up, and then shortly after that, he says, did not do the challenge, by the way. I sold both my bookers, one for 420, one for 320. So if you're not going for the master challenge, that's a smart way to go about it. Again, if we had known that the Lucas were going to come in this cheap, it reminds me a lot. So for those of you that joined the Saturday stream, I was fortunate enough to get one of the Holo Icon legendary packs. I opened that on stream. I put out a video this morning talking through what I ended up doing with that pack. And spoiler alert, I just have held on to them, at least for now. And I think what I was seeing on Saturday with those Holo and the metallic golds that were released is similar to what we see with the Luca, in that it's basically just like a selling war. You've got all these people that are all just got these same pieces of utility, and they're all trying to sell it. And that's just going to drive the price down, down, down. So I'm like, I never want to get a part of the selling war. As soon as all of the weak hands are removed, then I would expect that the price stabilizes, establishes a higher floor, and that's when I want to consider selling. So that, to me, would be a general recommendation, is that when you see people trying to sell something like crazy, that's like the worst time to try and sell something, because you don't want to be competing with someone else for listing it at the lowest ask. That's just a recipe for disaster. So this was just ties pretty closely to what we saw on Saturday after those new moments were released into the market.
Yeah. And I mean, TJ, you're touching on one of the things that I think we're actually going to do a deep dive in on one of the podcasts, but just kind of overall strategies and like a selling strategy. And one of the angles there, you get a little of a almost prisoner's dilemma, but definitely game theory. When I'm putting something on the marketplace, unless it's something like a challenge where I need to sell it, or like there's a ticking time bomb, what I will usually do is I'll never go lower than the actual lowest price. And if there are a bunch at one price, then maybe I'll decide whether it's time to actually sell it or not, or I'll put it on the same price. But in general, what I like to do is find out what the lowest price is, then find out what the second lowest price is, and go just below that second lowest price. Because if I'm trying to go lower than that bottom price, all that's going to more likely happen is the person who listed theirs lowest, because they listed it lowest, they've probably been around and more recently and seen that, they're just going to undercut me and we're just going to keep racing. Rather, I'd say, hey, you know what? You're the lowest. You've already gone that low. The next person can buy yours, and then I'm up next. And now together we're actually raising that floor, so I'm going to make a little more money there. And you're not taking that risk of this just complete race to the bottom and just killing the market.
Yeah, exactly. If all the Luca owners had gotten together and say, hey, nobody's going to list this for under $1,000, one of two things would have happened. Either the Lukas would be selling for $1,000 right now, or 0 people would be buying the Lukas. And come on, somebody out there would have been wanting to buy up the Lukas. People just want the action. I think that concludes thoughts on the Cool Cats 1. I will touch on the fact that Cool Cats 2 has not been officially released yet, but we do expect to see that, I would say, within the next 24 hours. And let me go ahead. I can share my screen quickly and show you guys what we expect in this challenge. So if you're not familiar, this site is topshotexplorer.com. And within here, I can go to the Series 2 sets, and then I can open up the Cool Cats. And this is going to show me all of the Cool Cats that are in existence and that have been minted. And so what you'll see here, we've got the ones that were a part of Cool Cats 1, John Collins, Tobias Harris, Devin Booker, Derek Jones Jr., Rui Hachimura, the Luka Doncic, who was the reward. And then now we see this next group here. And then, okay, you got the Karl Anthony Towns as well, who, as we know, is the Crypto Kitty reward. And so here we have the 5 folks that will be a part of the Cool Cats 2. PJ Washington, DeMarcus Cousins, John Wall, Tyler Hero, Julius Randle, and then Anthony Davis will be the reward for this next one. And the one thing that all 6 of these guys have in common is that they all played for the Kentucky Wildcats in college. So interesting tidbit there. I've seen some speculation on Twitter of, hey, maybe the 5 base moments that will go along with these 5 will also be Kentucky Wildcats. Saw some names floating around there. That's just complete speculation. I have not made any moves. I'm also like, how much are their prices really going to increase one way or the other? My plan is just as soon as the Cool Cats 2 challenge is released, I will go ahead and look at those base pack moments, make sure I secure each of those, and then wait for the Cool Cats packs to drop.
Yep. And so real quick, I do want to play a bit of a devil's advocate because I'm trying to think through this in real time right now, because I'm trying to imagine if I was in the marketplace right now, what price point would I want to buy that Luka at? And obviously as a holder, I want that to be at the highest possible. But from a objective standpoint, what was, majority of people who completed the challenge probably completed it for about how much? So they probably got one for $9. So then they had to purchase 4 more. Average of those purchases is probably about $250. So say $1,000. Maybe you can round up a little, say $1,050 if you include like a Booker or something. So if the majority price though of people trying to complete it cost $1,000, now if you're able to sell, we're seeing those the Cool Cats from before selling for around $150. So if you can get, that's what, $750 out of those 3 plus another $750 out of Luka, you did likely just turn your $1,000 into $1,500. That's not the worst ROI. Granted, I think that's a little messy because once you got that Cool Cat pack, your free moment kind of was worth $250 right there. So that's like half your ROI. But I'm just trying to go through the mind of like why people are selling, what that motivation is. I personally think I'd probably be buying definitely at the $750 price. I'd probably be buying up until around $850, $900. Probably and see how that market. I think we'll probably end up settling in the high in that 900 area, high 900s.
I'd also love to know, who do we think the people are buying these Lukas are, right? Are these people that completed the challenge, have one Luka, and now they're buying up additional Lukas? Or do we think it's people that didn't do the challenge and are now buying their first Luka? That's an interesting thing to think about. Maybe there are some people stockpiling, just like you said, hey, I completed the challenge, but I see this Luka as a value at $750, so I'm just going to add another one to my portfolio and hold on to that longer term. I think that's an interesting, maybe that's something we can try to find in the data. That may be a little complicated, but I'm sure we can figure something out.
Yeah, and I think overall, I believe it's sharper people, because if you were hesitant to complete the challenge over a 2-week period, maybe 10-day period, and spend around $1,000, I find it hard to believe those same people would be willing to just snap call $750, $850 Luka right now. So I think it's more sharp people seeing an opportunity, knowing that these are going to be the high value assets to complete the LaMelo, and we'll try to make a pretty penny later.
Yes, sir. Any final thoughts on the Cool Cats Challenge, whether it's Cool Cats 1, Cool Cats 2, the Master Challenge, the Crypto Kitties. Any closing thoughts that you feel we did not touch on? And if not, we will move to the next topic.
I just want to remind people I won that bet against TJ, so we're good.
I feel like, you know what? I kind of undersold this bet a bit, right? Because the whole point of I buried the lead, maybe subconsciously on purpose. I didn't do it intentionally. But yes, Justin and I had a wager. The wager was that I thought it was going to be closer to 3,000. He thought it was going to be closer to 3,500. It ended up being almost exactly 3,500. And the wager was that we both have unopened common packs sitting in our Top Shot accounts. So at the end of this stream, I am going to have to open up my pack in front of everyone, and then I'm going to have to gift each of those moments to Justin, no matter what they are. So I'm probably going to open my best pack ever and then just hand it right on over to you. And I think we figured out the sound. I tested it earlier today and it worked. So if it doesn't work now, then I'm just really going to be confused. So hopefully everybody will be able to see and hear.
It's okay. I told producer Cupe that if TJ can't figure it out, we're just going to record it and just play it and pretend like it's at the same time.
Yeah.
We'll go. Yeah. I like math, so I'm gonna take Skylar Hope's question here real quick before we jump on. Guess at what total investment may be completing the entire master, or just too tough to speculate. All right. So we know that there are going to be 5 of these master challenges. The first, is it 4 or 5? Shoot. 4. There are 4 of them. And so we know the first one we can estimate around 1,000. I think the other ones are going to be a bit easier. Let's say 700. So that's 2,100 plus 1,000, 3,100. Throw in that you've got to get that Karl Anthony Towns. So we'll say that another 32, 3,300. If we're at 3,300 now, we know there's 3 other Cool Cats that we're not sure how they're getting dispersed. We're not really sure what it is. They've hinted towards it's going to be ways that aren't in packs. So if you just say a base of, let's say, 150 for each of those, we're now at around 3,750, 3,800. I think that's a fair number for approximately what the investment would be to complete the entire master. It's a guess.
Skylar, there is no such thing that is too tough to speculate when it comes to the robot Justin Herzig. Give him the most complicated questions you can. He will answer them and probably be spot on.
All we do is speculate. All this is speculation. If we actually had all the information, it'd be boring. It's like playing poker with all the cards up.
Exactly. No, that's the fun part of this all. And it's so funny and interesting to see how it evolves. I remember when the Cool Cats thing first happened, I opened my first pack and I had a Derek Jones Jr. and I sold it instantly for $120. And I thought that I was a genius and that I ripped someone off. And then now Derek Jones Jr. was going for like $250 consistently for a week and a half after that. And I'm like, well, maybe you weren't so smart, TJ. So, hey, we are all living and learning as we go along this journey together. Not every decision we make is going to be perfect, but I really feel like we're so early in this whole thing that there's almost, there's not many big mistakes that you can be made as long as you're building up a portfolio of investments that you think are strong long-term plays. I feel like we're going to all be well positioned as more and more people enter this marketplace with us.
Yeah. And so to wrap this up, I will finish with Scott's just to come full circle. I really got to put more thought into this, but I was thinking around like maybe 2,000. And yes, that 2,000 is less than that kind of 3,700 number we just talked about. But that 3,700, you're also getting those other 29 moments. And so if the Luke is 1,000, like you can start estimating that it's still probably a profitable endeavor to go through. As long as the largest assumption we're making is that the market continues to either stay at about this level or increase. Who knows what happens over the next couple months, because I think this challenge will take most of the actual NBA season.
Yeah. As Cool Cats 2 becomes official, I'm sure we will do a deep dive podcast into Cool Cats 2. And as we get further and further along, we'll get a better idea of how we can project out as far as the LaMelo. And so we'll keep you coming there. We'll continue to update our thoughts there. We've got about 50 people watching right now. We've got 388 subscribers on our YouTube channel. I did this on Saturday and it worked pretty well. I would love for that to see 400. If we could get from 388 to 400. If you're in the chat right now, it means that you're probably enjoying the show. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It helps us out a lot. It'll notify you the next time we're going live. So please and thank you. We really do appreciate your support. And with that said, Justin, I feel like we've got one or two announcements that maybe we want to hit the people with. Have you heard anything about that?
I hear there's been some rumblings. I think even last week I mentioned that we might have a big guest coming up this week. There's people have been asking for some stuff, and so we want to, we are people for the people. And so, which one do we want to go with first? Because we got two big ones here.
We got two big ones. I think we should save the guest for second because the guest is something that we're both very excited about. But first, we can talk through the first announcement that we have here. So as we've been immersed in this Top Shot world for the past 2-3 weeks, it's very clear that Discord is a very big part of the Top Shot community. And we feel like we've been getting a lot of support from the folks on Twitter, from the folks in the chat. And we thought that it would be a good idea to get an Own the Moment Discord up and running so that we have a little forum for our community to communicate amongst each other, do some, ask me anything type things where Justin or I can come into the chat, answer any questions, give us some of our more detailed thoughts that maybe we aren't able to give over Twitter and such. So we have created the Discord, but we have not done anything else with it for now. We're actually, if anybody out there has experience with Discord or is just interested in it, you don't have to have any experience, and you'd be interested in helping us get that started in maybe being a moderator of the Discord, please send us a DM. We'd be very interested. I think you're the same way, Justin. I'm not super experienced with Discord. This is kind of a whole new thing for me. So if anybody would like to help us out, we would really appreciate it. And I just think it'll help bring this community closer. I think we've got a lot of good stuff going on here, a lot of good people that we've seen so far connecting with this group. It just seems like it'd be a fun time all around. Yeah,
completely agree. And so TJ, producer Cupe, and I have kind of got back and forth on, if we wanted to build this out. I think a couple of things that really made this decision for us is one, we love the interactions that we get with everyone through these live shows, through the chat, but kind of I mentioned how there's so many questions that we end up not getting to answer. There's so many questions that it ends up being a one question and we want to answer, but it's a bit more nuanced. I wish we could kind of discuss more. So we feel the Discord is a great way for us to kind of actually spend a bit more time as we have maybe some time and we're going through our kind of thought process, and maybe we want to actually learn from some of you all as well. So to get that kind of more real-time interaction. Second thing is I personally get zero value or minimal value, I would say, from like the most of the channels in the larger Discord. There's probably some if you know where to find it, obviously announcements, and maybe if you're looking for like trades and stuff. But that like the general there, I don't think has the level of value that I would want out of a Discord. And so we're looking for this to predominantly be, hey, the people who are interested in the kind of discussions we have, which I think are people who are taking a very, informative, educational approach to all this. Those are kind of the conversations we want to have. So we're really excited for that. And then, yes, I will echo what TJ was saying. Looking for moderators, referees, whatever we want to call them, who have some experience or interest to really help us build and expand this community. It's, one of the things that we want to do is foster, this level of genuine, this level of just, honesty, this level of actually helping other out. We know that this is really an ecosystem where the more that we are actually together, the more we kind of bring in people, the more valuable that all of our moments in this entire just ecosystem becomes. And so that's where I really want to, I think there's an opportunity to grow this out, and why we kind of made that decision that, hey, this is really for the best.
Yeah, really excited about that. Seeing a lot of buzz in the chat right now that apparently there's a misprint on this Luca Cool Cat and the hometown is misspelled. This is one of those random things that we've heard that misprints are valuable for some reason. I'm curious. And the price is up to 894 now. You think that's correlated? It went from 750 to 900. Yeah, I wonder if that's just coincidence or if people actually think that does make a difference. Man, I was. It can't hurt it. I feel like that's for sure. It's makes it more unique, more rare. So
I think it's kind of funny because can anyone actually say or spell the actual hometown? And usually, I think with spelling, it's always interesting when it's a word that I have no idea what it is. Like a place like this, I'm usually probably double, triple checking to make sure I got it right. So I know, Slovenia. Type that in, and it looks like there's an I between the L and the J when it should just be LJ. And so that right there, I want to give mad props to whoever was the first person to notice that, the first person to actually see that and be like, nope, that's not right. Well
done. You got to have some keen eyesight and be a really you got to be able to read better than producer Cupe. Sorry, Cupe, I had to throw that in there. Coop spelled one or two things wrong, so I had to give him a little bit of flack. But he's laughing behind the scenes now. We love you, Coop. We really, really do. Sorry,
you get the date right most of the time, Coop. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a huge believer that a misprint is going to have significant value. Maybe like if you have between commons and someone has 10 commons across their career, the misprint common is the one that's most expensive. I think, just, hey, the value is what the market says. So if the market says that, hey, this is more interesting, this is more rare.
Well, I think, to the tune of Paul V's comment, we should run an expected value calculation on the value of that I and see what we come up with.
I don't know. My math tells me that I is imaginary. So
anyways, interesting little tidbit there. Got sidetracked, but yes. OTM Discord is coming soon to you. Please reach out if you have any interest in helping us get that up and running. I think that it will be a fun thing for all of us to hang out in, share ideas, share some of the cool moments that we've all purchased. And again, this whole thing is just about enjoying this experience together. It's fun to be really early into a new industry and be with a small group of passionate people that are all spending a lot of time thinking about this stuff like we are. So really, really looking forward to that. And now, on Wednesday night, we are going to have another guest. So for those of you that did not hear the podcast with Wades.eth, we spoke with him last week. He's one of the originals of NBA Top Shot, has been in the space for a very long time, was a really, really insightful conversation with Wades. Thought that was really awesome talking with him. And now coming up this Wednesday, we have one of the other big time names in the Top Shot space, in the NFT space. And that is Steve, AKA @Veerman on Twitter. So for anyone that is not familiar, he is the person that developed the intangible.market website. He's been one of the OGs of Top Shot. I honestly don't know much about him. I was trying to look up information and he doesn't have a lot out there. So I feel like we're in a really good spot here to open up Steve and ask a lot of the hard-hitting questions that you can't really find anywhere right now. There's not a lot of information about him. So I'm really looking forward to that conversation. I think he's a huge guest, and I know that a lot of the OGs have nothing but respect for Steve, aka Veerman.
Yeah, and he's another one that is active as a referee in that Discord. I'm sure he'll have some interesting, fun stories he potentially tell there. For me personally, from a value standpoint, I'm most interested in learning from a data standpoint. We're actually, TJ, we're going to bring our data analyst on as well for that.
Yes, I believe so. I see him. I saw him in the chat earlier. So
shout out to Neil, who's in the chat, but our data analyst over at OTM. He's going to be joining us because I'm most interested in talking with Steve to better understand from a data side. what is he actually pulling from behind the scenes? What kind of tools can we actually make? So then we can provide those to you all. And as you probably saw with that Wades_ETH conversation, there was some data that I still was confused on. I still wasn't really understanding why some moments were being minted May 2019, which was before the actual play happened in real life. So how does that work? What kind of things can we learn from the data? So he's got some cool projects going on. Obviously, the intangible, it's very valuable. I mean, it's very for if you want to get your account valuation, you can do that. There's some stuff on there that he's had to take down that he has in progress. So really just understanding, hey, what's driving him for creating all this? What's on the roadmap ahead? And what are some things that we can take away ourselves to kind of improve our, collecting, trading, investing strategy?
Yep, and I just popped the link into the chat. For anyone that is not aware or familiar with this website, check it out. It's a pretty raw website, but the thing that I definitely use is you can go to the account valuation and you can type in your username or anyone's username, and you can see that based on current lowest ask prices across the industry, what various accounts are valued at. That's one of the beauties of the blockchain, of the transparency, is that everything is out in the open and available. So if there are some of the big names that you're curious what moments they have or how much their accounts are valued at, there's nowhere to hide. So I know that I use that tool often, and we're definitely going to be asking Steve a number of questions. Really looking forward to that conversation. And we're going to be live with him, right, Justin?
We will be live.
The plan?
Yes. So 8:30 Wednesday evening. Producer Cupe is putting out a tweet about that right now. And there are some large shoes to fill after we thought Wade's was actually being very generous with us by doing the giveaway of being a Series 1 Luka card worth a value of like $650. And so his generosity ended up just putting a large amount of pressure on us for if we ever want to do giveaways, what we've got to actually put on the table. Fortunately, we do not have the $1 million account valuations and the ability to throw those around, but we still wanted to make sure that we got some fire. And so for this guest with Veerman, what we are planning to do, so tonight we will run a contest. We will run a raffle. We'll put out the tweet. And what we're going to say is we just want you to retweet, and I'll post these instructions in a couple minutes, but we want you to retweet the tweet that producer Coop just put out, which has Veerman tagged and talks about the show, and include either a question that you want to ask Veerman or a comment about what you're excited about. Because we don't want to force you to a question, but one of those two things, and then just make sure that you are following us and subscribing on YouTube so we can make sure we can find you. And the winner, we will use the wheel, and the winner will receive a Series 2 Release 10 unopened pack. And that pack, since we can't gift it, we will open it live on stream. And no matter what we pull, those 3 moments are being gifted directly to you. So that's going to be our big raffle, big prize for that. We want to obviously create some interest. We got to make sure that Veerman gets the level of attention that he deserves, a level of audience. So we're hoping that through these retweets, you guys can help us out and get that a little extra publicity out there.
Absolutely. Yeah. If you are around Wednesday night, would love if you're able to join us live, not for our sake, just because Steve has done a lot for this industry, and he's doing it all like for the good of the people. Like he's not, I mean, he could easily charge money for his website, and I've seen people say that to him. I'm sure that that's something that we could ask him, but my impression is that it's a guy that just loves this product, loves this space, and is more focused on, the industry growing than maybe his personal self growing. Just seems like an all around smart guy, great guy, and we're really looking forward to that 8:30 on Wednesday. Great giveaway. It'll also be a little bit of an excitement opening that pack rather than just, gifting. Like Justin said, we'd love to be able to gift $700 moments, but that's just not available to us. So we figure that it's more fun to gift a $9 pack than to just gift a random, $15 moment or something like that. I think it'll be a good time.
Rumor has it there's an expected value of around $40 for those packs in case people miss that. So, that's not bad.
Via OTM's proprietary expected value calculations that everyone always wants to ask for, even though anyone can do it if they wanted to. All righty. So that is it, I believe, for the announcement. And
I put the tweet out. So the rules are out there.
Oh, great.
Make sure that you do retweet the one that is pinned, which is going to be the Veerman one. We want to make sure that he gets the attention for all this, and then just follow, subscribe, blah blah blah.
Guys, we only gained 4 subscribers. Is my shilling getting worse, or maybe everyone's already subscribed?
No, these are our family.
People.
These are our regular.
We're at 392.
That's on the weekend we get the weekend.
The weekend was when we had the randoms. Everyone here is already a part of the family, is already subscribed. If you're spending your Monday night with us, we really appreciate it. It makes it a lot more fun when we're talking with people and, not just sitting here talking to each other. Love the interaction with the chat, trying to see if we missed anything big, but I think we're relatively caught up to speed. Yes, we did give away.
I forgot the winner, though. I know he messaged us. I'll pull up his name.
Yeah.
Evan, okay, Bonafide Legit was his Twitter account.
Was the winner.
Bonafide Legit, Evan B, out of, I think, Portland.
Oh, man, we may have forgotten to tweet out the winner, I feel like so much happened that night. That was when a lot was going on, and it just got lost in the mix. So Bonafide Legit, sorry that if we did not announce on Twitter, but yes, he was the winner of the raffle. He reached out. It was actually fun. So we wanted to see if, he was going to win no matter what, but we wanted to see if he was going to watch the show and find out as he watched. And so he tweeted out as he was watching. That's when he found out that he won, and then he reached out to us on Twitter. So I thought that was a more fun, organic way to as opposed to us just DMing him, being like, "Hey, spoiler alert, you're about to win this raffle." So that was a good time, and we're excited to be doing that again on Wednesday as we have Steve join us for the show.
And I think the number was around 18,000, 19,000. I don't remember exactly, but it was pretty up there. And obviously that everything got pretty wonky because we were, with the time, starting the time and stuff and the queue and all. Yeah, but congrats to him.
Yes. All righty. I am looking at our list, Justin, and we've got one more topic before we get to the first edition of TJ Pays a Bet that he lost to Justin, because that's probably going to become a regular segment on this show. I'm going to get you next time. I swear. I thought I had you.
You really did.
You
were so excited.
Dude, I was so confident, and you didn't even sweat it. I was like, I had backup on Twitter too. Someone else was,
I trust the rash. Waz is funny.
Waz was with me.
He's a top 3 fantasy football projections. He's fantastic at what he does, but he made a joke and he's like, turns out that my fantasy football projections does not help with projecting NFTs. So
so very shortly I will be opening that pack for you all. Fingers crossed with sound. But first, Justin, saw that you were quite active on the marketplace this morning. I hear that you have a new long-term play / strategy / investment that you are looking to implement. And would you like to share that with the people? And I tailed some of these, by the way. And
I can purchase that for you. Let me blow this up a little. And so, as TJ said, I was making a bunch of these purchases throughout today. So I'm definitely don't want to make this sound like and this is something that TJ and I have talked about a bunch behind the scenes, is how do we explain our process and give our strategies without making it sound like we're shilling a player or like a pump and dump or anything like that. And I think it's a really challenging thing for us to really do on these, but I'm just trying to be as genuine and honest as possible. And truth here is I see a play and I'll explain through. I feel that it's a long-term. These players that I've acquired, I'm planning on holding them for multiple years. This is not something I'm trying to flip or anything like that. But my general thought process was we are trying to identify scarcity, and we've all been a routine. We understand that the S1s have scarcity. We understand that rookies have scarcity. So I'm trying to find what are some other ways that we can identify scarcity. And so one of those is kind of think through the number of moments that a player has. Let's take let's say, equal players, and one of them has 2 moments out, 2 common moments. And in series 2, that's hypothetical hasn't happened yet, but we'll go with it and say one has 1,000, a count of 1,000. The other one has a count of 4,000. Okay. And now let's say there's another player who only has 1 moment, but has a count of, let's say, 2,500. Now, what should the values of those be? From what I was seeing, and you see series 1 where players had multiple common moments, a lot of times that player with the out of 1,000, theirs is going to be more valuable than the one player who only had 1 moment out of 2,500. And I'm not sure if that actually should be the case. You can argue that, hey, it's more scarce to have the 1,000 and the amount of moments doesn't really matter. We just want the top end. But if we think about it from a market cap standpoint, you have 5,000 commons of this player and you have 2,500 of this player. And if all else is equal and they have the same level of ability, isn't the one with only 2,500 more scarce? So shouldn't we potentially be valuing that more, or at least the same as that 1,000? We're not seeing that in the marketplace now. It's still very early, but that's a hypothesis that I have long term. So now I'm trying to prioritize people who maybe have fewer moments. And now there's a correlation where the worst players have less moments because they don't make the playoffs and it's just not as exciting of a player. And yep, okay, so we'll deal with that. But what about players that are maybe near the end of their career? Players that have a certain moments out now. They were involved in Series 1, maybe they'll have some Series 2s, but maybe you expect them to retire now in the next couple of years. And our short-sighted view, our bias that we have around recency is that, we're thinking about what is their impact on the court now, as well as kind of what kind of player they are. It really is hard to kind of take into the that entire career component. So what I did is I started kind of building out, and I started looking at, okay, who are the players that are the oldest in the league? I then started, some of the things that I value when I'm comparing players. So we've got Hall of Fame percentage. This is from Basketball Reference. For any player that has, I think it's 400 games under their belt, you can see if their career ended today, what are their chances of making the Hall of Fame? We then have how many times they made the All-Star, how many times they've won MVP, Rookie, or DPOY. My own formula where I weight those different awards to get kind of a more numerical value around, make sure that MVP is worth more than All-Stars, so forth. And then I take their career earnings and I've standardized that from a number from 1 to 100, LeBron being 100, 1 being someone who's just entered the league. This allows me to, take a more data-centric view of how I'm comparing the careers of players. And then we have here the number of moments. And so that tells me, hey, how many are there actually out there of that player? So I'm trying to find players who are maybe undervalued and they don't have that many moments and they potentially may be retiring pretty soon. And so when I go through this list, obviously LeBron is here. LeBron's LeBron. We know what that is. Chris Paul is another one that kind of jumps out with, at the 100% Hall of Fame, double-digit All-Stars, strong in the awards, strong in the earnings, but he's also already has 9 moments. And if you look at his prices, it seems like there's actually decent, people are correctly or at least, heavily valuing Chris Paul. I would say that there is an argument here to still buy his on this logic because how much longer of a career will he have? And then his moments will still be significantly fewer than the younger players who are starting their career with top shots around. But the players that I really centered in on were Carmelo, LaMarcus Aldridge, and Dwight Howard. So for Carmelo, his prices were, substantially less than Chris Paul, despite their Hall of Fame chances being about the same. He actually has 1 more All-Star than Chris. He didn't get the Rookie of the Year. And earnings, not much different, a little less, but still relevant. I mean, and at the end of the day, when you think of Carmelo, you think of a big name. There were multiple years in the league where he was probably a top 5, top 7, at least from a name standpoint. He has that level of excitement. I think when he retires, we may, think of his career more holistically better than we're thinking of Carmelo as we do right now. So I went through and I thought that was a great value. Dwight Howard, the next one. I think he's probably one of the most underrated players on Top Shot. Him and Russell Westbrook, but that's a conversation for a whole other time. And so, when we look at Dwight, only has 5 moments, so it's pretty easy to find that scarcity. 100% chance of making the Hall of Fame. All-Stars 8, won Defensive Player of the Year 3 times. He's been a stud. He's been one of the best at his position. And his pricing in the marketplace does not reflect that. And he only has those 5 moments. So when talking a market cap, it's even substantially lower. That's a player that I think, absolutely love. He was also one of those 5 moments was the reward for an MGLE challenge. So there's not many out there. So that was another big play. And the last one I'll say was Aldridge. Marcus Aldridge does not have the skill set, does not have the, career of these others. We see here, if his career ended today, it'd be a 51% chance in making the Hall of Fame. Maybe you still get a year or 2, maybe a couple years out of him, and that increases. So we're making a little bit of a wager here. But his Series 1 commons were going for $19. That's the same price as what we saw other throwaway players that have 0% chance, virtually no chance of making the Hall of Fame. So those are the 3 players that today I kind of made some strong buys in, the ones that I feel like I'm holding on to these for the long term. I want to wait till their career's over and people can take a more holistic view of what their career is. 3 years after they retire, they get that, NBA Hall of Fame announcement. That's when I think you may, it may be a long time to realize the true value of these. But I'm bullish, and I think that was just a new way that I wanted to think about scarcity in a little different way than we've been considering.
Yeah, I like that thought process there. I like the idea of, because it's a little bit counterintuitive at first, right? If you're playing something like fantasy sports, the people that have the value are the younger people because you have their whole career ahead of them. Whereas when it comes to something like Top Shot, like you just said, when we know that people are towards the end of their career, they're not going to have as many moments over the course of the next couple of years. Whereas if you've got people that are in their 2nd or 3rd year in the league, there's many, many more moments to come. And so it's hard to evaluate where any of the current moments will rank relative to the ones that are to come in the future. We got a little funny thing here. Poor Veerman. We called him Scott in our graphic somehow. And it's too late. It's too late now. Too many people have already retweeted it. Twitter needs an edit button, man. At least 3 times I've tweeted something out and then immediately deleted it because I realized that I can't spell. And so if anyone ever gets a notification from a tweet and then sees it disappear, it's probably because I spelled something wrong. So it happens. So it'll be a funny way to open this show with him on Wednesday. But man, we both reviewed the graphic.
My favorite part is that we were giving him shit for not being able to spell or whatever. And, maybe he just spelt Steve Scott.
He's shaking his head in the background. Isn't even on screen to defend himself. Coop, you're gonna have to cover this in the next episode of Producer Coop After Dark. That is when you'll have your time to explain. But no, we're getting a lot of good questions here. People really curious. Wade's was the one that pointed it out. He says, "This is my friend Steve, guys. I don't know who Scott is." Wade's has a funny sense of humor. His Twitter personality is pretty funny. Anyways,
what's he doing awake? Isn't it? I guess maybe it's morning.
Like I said on the podcast, he doesn't seem to sleep. He's in Australia, and I don't really get the whole time difference thing, but it seems like he's always awake. Yeah. So
I feel like
Twitter blockchain misprint. I like that. Yeah, This is gonna be a very valuable graphic someday, guys. If only there was an NFT attached to this graphic. Imagine having the misprint Veerman. That would be worth a lot. That would be worth a lot. Coop, maybe you're onto something here.
Did you see what Roham tweeted either yesterday or today?
I don't know if I did. What did he tweet?
All right. So someone else tweets, NFT is the next fucking thing. Pardon the French. But that's what it was. And he loved it. And he goes, "Can I buy that tweet?" And so he then links to a site where you can literally turn a tweet into an NFT and purchase it.
Wow.
And I think the person who like sent the tweet, here we go. The offer was like 250. And because I know Wade's actually responded, and Wade showed his own tweet, and he goes, "Hey, you want to buy mine?"
Redman. Oh, Redman. That's a scary image. Maybe that's a scary image. But that aside, it's only 1 p.m. in Australia. It doesn't look as scary when it's small. When it's up on the screen, it's a little scary looking. But thank you, Redman. Cheers out in Australia. I love Australians. In our senior year of college, producer Cupe and I had 2 Australian guys that we would always run into late night, and Australians know how to have a good time late night. So, Redman, Wade's, if we're ever out in Australia, we will have to get together. Okay. We have gotten a bit sidetracked here, but that was the point tonight. This was to have a good time. This was hype. To share a couple laughs. This was to get the boys and girls back going, back pumped up. All right. So we're going to open this pack. Let's see if there's anything that you see in the chat that you think we should touch on. We can wrap up with that, but I feel like we've covered quite a bit of what we wanted to talk about tonight. So I think it's time to open up this pack.
TJ, while you're getting this prep, I will say, I noticed that while I was explaining all that, the chat kind of just died. So hopefully I didn't put people to sleep. But if that's the kind of analysis that we do want more of, let me know. We can kind of structure. And when TJ and I have kind of similar thoughts around that, we can definitely turn it into a segment. If people want less of that, also that's fine. Just let us know. We're happy to adapt.
No worries. Alrighty. Let's see if we can once and for all have the audio work. I'm pretty sure we're going to have it work this time.
It is my pack, right? I won the pack. I should at least get some audio to go with my pack.
Yeah. Okay, so here's the deal. I've got 2 base set Series 2 Release 12 packs that have been burning a hole in my digital pocket. I'm going to open one of these packs, and then I'm going to gift them to Justin as punishment for my lack of ability to project Luka Doncic's prices.
Give me the sound. Give me the sound.
The sound comes. No sound yet. You guys hear it?
We got it.
All right. Now we can really get this party started.
So much better. Let's go. Let's get some
Here we go. Behind door number 1, we have handles. Damian Lillard handles.
All right.
Okay.
That's probably like a few dollars. Pull up the marketplace. I'm gonna
look at that number 1584 or 1584. All right. That's probably going for a couple bucks. Just a common moment right there, but Damian Lillard, obviously a fantastic player. Door number 2. There you go, Dwight Howard, your boy. Series 2. Dwight Howard dunk, January 7th. That's my birthday. Shout out to me. All right, Justin. Are you feeling lucky on this last one?
Let's get that final one. Come on, LaMelo.
Another Sixer, JoJo. Joel Embiid.
So all 15,000, all common, but great players. That might be a 3 for 3 in the Hall of Fame if we look back.
They're really good players. The fact that they're all commons, and that just speaks to, right, eventually the idea behind these common packs. Okay, when does the music stop? When I hit done. There we go. I was like, I never knew how to start it. Now I don't know how to stop it. Alrighty. There you go, Justin. I will promptly send those your way. Gotta love getting a Dame, a Dwight, and who was the last one? I just blanked on it. But
and JoJo.
Third Embiid. One. And JoJo. Embiid.
So we got Dame at $7, Dwight at $3, and Embiid at 8. And that Dame was also a little, a nice mint. So maybe we can bump that up a little. So, hey, maybe I can. We know I'm not going to flip them. I'll hold on to them. But theoretically, I'll think of it as you bought me a couple drinks. That works.
Exactly. That is the new form of buying your friend a drink in 2021. Instead of buying him a drink, you buy him a 10-second video of your favorite NBA moment. And that is what we discuss here at Own the Moment. Justin.
We're good.
The mascot?
I just had some puppy came over, so we'll come say hi.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Arnie. Arnie joined us on Saturday. He joined the OTM family and the Herzig family on Saturday. He is just, 2 months old, you said?
2 months old, 2 days with us. Yeah. Little miniature.
How have the first 2 days gone?
Days are great. Nights are rough. For people who were following me and interacting with me on Twitter, I was putting out some asks. Just falling asleep. Putting out some asks for some help on how to crate train, because he keeps us awake. Just has so much voice inside that little body, and having to go to the bathroom every hour, but it's worth it.
I was clicking buttons and hit the X.
Oh, I thought you were just giving him some FaceTime. I like it.
Put me back on my side. Hit the wrong button. At least I didn't hit
Hoke.
that
is right. Arnie's Army. Actually, so a couple of friends and I went to the Ryder Cup the year after Arnie passed, and we got the Arnie's Army pins. I went to Wake Forest, so have that allegiance to Arnold Palmer, and that is partly what Arnie is named after.
Love that. Hey, Justin, there's at least one person out there that loved your old guy analysis.
Good. Yeah, there were a couple. I like the idea. Some people were saying that everyone just hitting the market.
I think everyone liked it. Yeah, it's. No, I think that's what we're going to continue to try and do here is bring a variety of some lighter, fun stuff, some more deep, technical, in the weeds stuff. Our goal here is really to provide and to speak to anyone that is getting involved in Top Shots, right? Whether you're somebody that is grinding 24/7 and wants to know every last detail, we want to be able to provide enough information for that person. Or if it's someone that just enjoys messing around and wants to have somewhere to hang out for an hour on a Monday night, hopefully they find our conversation and banter entertaining. And I know that you and I are having a great time doing this. And like we said, we're just getting started. We're going to get a Discord up and running this week. We are going to be back on Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time with Steve at Veerman. Apologies, Veerman, for the misspelling. We are all just 2 weeks into this, so we are working on polishing our ability to tweet, myself included. Again, to spell, to tweet. Oh, it is tough, but hey, what can you do? I think that it will be fine. I think that Steve will forgive us. It'll give us something to laugh about on Wednesday. So, Justin, it's been an hour and 15 minutes almost. Wow, my goodness. Is there anything else that you would like to leave the people with before we call it a night?
I think Steve kicked me off Discord. I can't even get it. No, I'm kidding. I will go apologize to him shortly after this. No, it's great. I would say, hey, from our Discord, definitely reach out if you have any interest. Experience is definitely preferred. But even if you don't experience, but you do have interest, that's valued as well. And we'll probably put together a strong team to really run this and make sure that we can all get the most value out of it. From the contest, go through that. We'll get Scott, Steve, as many of the stuff that he can, attention there. And I'm excited. So 2 days away, Wednesday night, we'll see all you back. And it's going to be a really good pod, stream, cast, whatever.
It'll be all of the above and so much more. Okay. I think we have said it all. Justin, go ahead and check out the podcast from yesterday. I mentioned it at the beginning of the show. I also tweeted about it from my personal account today. It's definitely a heavier podcast than what we just did now, but it's a short one. It's only 30 minutes long, and I personally really enjoyed it. Justin gave some really, really awesome thoughts, some really, I thought, thoughtful recommendations on how some of the sticky situations with Top Shot could potentially be resolved. Really thought that you get a good kind of insight into the types of things that Justin is thinking about, not just with NBA Top Shot in particular, but how he's thinking about product and technology and startups, and how you treat early adopters when you're beginning a startup. So remember, this guy is not just a Top Shot guru. He's also crushing it in the 9 to 5. And I think a lot of that came out in that podcast. And we just thought that it was the right thing to do to really address our honest thoughts on the unfortunate situation from Saturday. That said, we also wanted to make sure that we came back today and had a little bit more positivity, because there's still so much to be excited about. There's so much ahead of us, and we are really thankful and excited to have all of you along this journey with us. With that said, any final words, Justin? I think I asked you that 3 times already, but
this
hey.
is great. I'm good. Let's send it off. Enjoyed the
right.
night with everyone. Enjoyed the chat. Look forward to see you all Wednesday.
All righty. So with that said, for Justin Herzig, for producer Cupe, behind the scenes, I am TJ Lasig. We will catch you guys next time.